Welcome into Steelers Talk Yinzers. My name is Jack Sperry. Today, we do a video that I have been planning for and waiting for a very, very long time. Today, I am going to reveal my perfect NFL draft plan for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Cannot wait to break it down with you guys. I definitely worked really hard on this one. But before we get into today's action, go ahead and click that subscribe button right now for me if you want even more Steelers draft coverage this offseason. The NFL draft is just a couple of weeks away, and we've got some really great stuff planned for you. We got Steelers draft rumors just about every single day here on the channel. We got prospect analysis and rankings at different kinds of positions. We have an offensive tackle rankings video already up on the channel. Probably going to hit a couple more positions here in the next couple of weeks. And then, of course, we have Steelers mock drafts on the channel. At this time of year, it's about every single week at this point. So I appreciate you guys. Go ahead, do me a favor. If you want Steelers draft coverage, click that subscribe button right now. All right, so before we get going on this perfect draft plan, I want to explain a little bit about what this is. So essentially what this is going to be, it's going to be like a mock draft, only it's going to be more of a best case scenario type of mock. So I understand that some of these picks that I'm about to make, some of these guys are going to have to fall a little bit from where they are currently projected. But like I said, this is a best case scenario, and we are focusing on the ideal today, not necessarily what's the most realistic. All right, so in round one, I want to talk about what my plan would be if I were Steelers GM Omar Khan. First thing, I am not really looking to trade up. I'm looking to pretty much stay put at number 17 unless there is an offensive tackle prospect that I really like, and he's available at like 14 or 15, and it doesn't take that much in terms of draft capital in order to move up. Number two, for me, offensive tackle is the priority. I think that replacing Dan Moore Jr. with somebody that's more suited for the new power run game that Matt Canada and Mike Tomlin are trying to implement for the Steelers is the number one priority. If you can get one of those top offensive tackle prospects, I think you'll be in a good place. But if all those guys are off the board at number 17, I would go with one of the top cornerback prospects. There's quite a few of them in this year's draft class. And then if all else fails here and no offensive tackle or cornerback prospects that you like are there, I would say trade down is plan C, and maybe go get a wide receiver, maybe go get a lower end cornerback there at the end of round one and get more draft capital. So without further ado, now let's get into this perfect draft plan. And with that first pick at number 17, I think the ideal situation for the Steelers is to get Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle out of Ohio State. In my opinion, he is the best offensive tackle prospect in this year's NFL draft class. When you take a look at the numbers, you can see why, man. This guy is a fantastic prospect. He did allow 2 sacks last year and 12 hurries, but you look at his PFF run grade from last season. This guy can really move people at the line of scrimmage. He is a fantastic athlete. He's very scheme diverse in that way. So if the Steelers ever want to move to a zone system for the run game, he can absolutely do that. He had a fantastic performance at his pro day there in Columbus. For me, my scouting report here on Paris Johnson Jr., the pros are the size is fantastic at 6'6", 311 pounds, the athleticism, the power, and the length. He's got the exact body type that you look for in an NFL franchise left tackle. Some of the cons, though, is that sometimes the balance can be a little bit concerning. It's not as bad as somebody like a Broderick Jones or some of the other guys that have balance issues in this draft, but it's something to keep an eye on. And then right now, he is so good. He is so powerful in his hands that in college, he could get away with just being a 2-hand punch guy only. If the best left tackles in the NFL, they're going to have to use each hand independently with some of those finesse rushers. Paris Johnson Jr., I think that's something that he can learn moving forward into the NFL, but he's got all the physical tools that you look for heading into the NFL. He is my guy if I am the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let me know in the comment section right now, who is the ideal round one pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Let me know in the comment section. You guys know my answer is Paris Johnson Jr. I cannot wait to see who you guys have as your ideal pick in round one. Now let's go on to the second pick for the Steelers here, right at the top of round two. Pick number 32. For me, the positions that I'm going to consider here, offensive tackle, if you don't hit that in round 1, cornerback, wide receiver, and inside linebacker. And my general philosophy at this pick is that if a great player falls to you in round 2 at any one of those positions, you take them. And if you feel like the value just isn't there at any of those positions, trade down and get more picks, because there's going to be a ton of teams vying to trade up at number 32. But in this scenario, we're not making any trades. So if the Steelers stay here, I think the best case scenario for the Steelers at number 32 is that Maryland corner Deonte Banks somehow falls here to the second round. Deonte Banks is one of my favorite cornerback prospects in this year's NFL draft. I think that the scheme fit is a perfect match for what Mike Tomlin wants to do. There with the Maryland Terrapins last season, he gave up 4 touchdowns. He had 8 pass breakups, 1 interception, only allowed 258 yards, and a completion percentage of 43.3. Now, the reason why I like Deonte Banks for the Steelers so much is that with the Terrapins last year, he had to play in a very scheme-diverse system. They played every single coverage in the book there in Maryland last year. Man, press man, off man, cover 4, cover 2 zone, cover 3 zone. They played a bunch of different types of coverages. Mike Tomlin likes corners that can do that because his defense is very versatile as well. Deonte Banks is a very intelligent football player with a great physical skill set. I have him right up there with Devin Witherspoon and Christian Gonzalez in this year's draft class. And if somehow he falls to the second round, I think the Steelers have to scoop him up. All right, guys, we're going to get into the rest of this draft plan in just a second. But first, we have these awesome official Steelers draft hats on the Chat Sports website. You can go to chatsports.com/Steelers draft hat to get yours today. I know I'm getting mine in that black and gold color, but the official one here with the stone color, the gold lettering, the logo in the middle, I think these are the nicest looking draft hats that the NFL has had in a while. I know I can't wait to get mine. We got a bunch of different bill styles as well. So if you're a curved bill guy, we've got that for you. We got straight bills for you if you like that kind of style. We got everything on there on the Chat Sports website, but let me tell you guys, these things go fast. These things are a very hot item. So if you want to get your Steelers draft hat and you want to make sure you get yours, you got to go chatsports.com/Steelers draft hat to get yours today. All right, now the second round pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 49. The plan for me, some positions I'm considering: cornerback if you don't have one yet, inside linebacker, nose tackle, and wide receiver if there's somebody that you really love. And you have to address a need that hasn't been addressed yet. So in this mock draft, we've already gone over offensive tackle and cornerback. So here I'm going to address inside linebacker by getting my number 1 linebacker in this year's draft class, Jack Campbell, out of Iowa. And I think Jack Campbell is a plug-and-play starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers right away because the Steelers need a coverage linebacker. Jack Campbell is the best coverage linebacker in this year's draft class, in my opinion. Take a look at his stats with the Iowa Hawkeyes last season in 13 games played. 2 interceptions, which is something that is a very intriguing number for me. 1 forced fumble, 125 tackles. This guy is big. This guy plays with great instincts in zone coverage, and he's a very solid run defender as well, which I really like. He's 6'5", 246 pounds. He absolutely crushed his workouts at the combine. After Indianapolis, he really cemented himself as the number 1 linebacker on my board. And if he falls to number 49, I think the Steelers should really consider taking him because right now they really need a coverage linebacker. You signed Cole Holcomb, Andy Landon Roberts in NFL free agency. Both of those guys are more blitzing, more aggressive style, athletic type linebackers. Their specialty isn't really going out into zone coverage. That's the piece that they're missing in this linebacker room. I think Jack Campbell is a fantastic fit. All right, if you guys are a real one, if you are a true Yinzer and you watch the show regularly, do me a favor and like today's video. It is a free and easy way to help out the channel if you are already subscribed. So I'd really appreciate it if you go down there, find that thumbs up icon, and give it a click. Now here in round 3, I got Mazi Smith, defensive tackle from Michigan here at number 80 overall. Let's kick this draft plan into high gear here. Mazi Smith is my favorite nose tackle prospect in this year's NFL draft class. I kind of go back and forth between him, Siaki Ika, and Keanu Benton. But man, Mazi Smith, this guy is a freak coming out of the Wolverines. 48 tackles last year, 2.5 tackles for loss, a half sack, and a forced fumble last year with at the University of Michigan. And man, Mazi Smith at 6'3", 337 pounds. He is extremely athletic, and I think that he has some pass rushing upside that wasn't really unlocked by Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines. They kind of had him in like this squatty potty, like two-hand stance that, is just really awkward, and it just didn't really allow him to get after quarterbacks. I think once he gets into a Mike Tomlin type of scheme where he's allowed to really rush the passer from that nose tackle position, I think he's going to be a fantastic prospect. This guy has absolute hammers for hands. He can block shed like a mother effer, man. This guy is a fantastic prospect. If he is somehow there in round 3, I think the Steelers have to pull the trigger. Then you get into round 4 here, number 120th overall here. I got the Steelers taking Jonathan Mingo, who I think is a perfect fit for what they are looking for in their future slot receiver alongside Calvin Austin III, Deontay Johnson, and George Pickens. You take a look at what Mingo did with Ole Miss last year. 5 touchdowns, over 16 yards per catch last year, 861 total yards in 13 games played. And the big reason why I think the Steelers have this guy on their radar is the size. 6'2", 225 pounds from a slot receiver, or somebody that I think is going to project as more of a slot receiver in the NFL. I think that he's got a really great feet in route running ability. I think he's going to be able to move people at the line of scrimmage on those early downs. Right now, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers really do like those bigger slot receivers. You see that with Juju Smith-Schuster. They tried moving Chase Claypool over to the slot before they traded him. And right now, their really only real option in the slot to start is Calvin Austin III, who's 5'9" and like 165 pounds. Now, he is a dynamo. He's going to be a really great second and third down passing situations type slot receiver, but I think Jonathan Mingo is the type of guy that you can bring in on those early downs, trust to be a true receiver, but he's also going to be a great blocker in the run game, really add another flavor to the Steelers wide receiver room. So does Pittsburgh need to draft another wide receiver? Should they do it? Is this a big need that the Steelers absolutely need to address this offseason? Type Y if you think yes, or type N if you think no. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, but also tell me why you think that is the case. All right, now, we got a couple picks left here in this perfect Steelers draft scenario, and it's the 7th round picks. My first pick here is Andrew Voorhees, the center out of USC. Now, he tore his ACL in Indianapolis at the Combine. Now, but he's 6'6", 325 pounds, and with a torn ACL, he went out there and he led this year's class in interior offensive linemen in bench press reps. This guy is super, super strong. This guy's going to be a great power blocker when he does get on the field in the NFL. He's probably not going to be able to play next year, but you look at the Steelers' offensive line situation, man. You got Mason Cole, and they've been looking at all these different center prospects. It seems like they want to find somebody for the future, but you also have guys like Isaac Seumalo, Nate Herbig, of course Mason Cole, and James Daniels. All those guys have center versatility, so you don't really need to draft somebody that's going to play for you right away. Andrew Voorhees is the type of guy that I think if he falls to the 7th round, you can draft him, you can pretty much sit him for a year, let him recover, and then he can come back in 2024 just being an absolute beast for you in that power run game. Then with the second pick in round 7, I have them taking B.J. Thompson, outside linebacker out of Stephen F. Austin. I think this is actually a relatively realistic pick. B.J. Thompson, man, 6'6", 210 pounds. This guy is long. He is rangy. He has a great first step. And last year, an 86.8 PFF grade, which was 25th in the country, even though he really doesn't have any pass rushing finesse skill set whatsoever. He doesn't really know what to do with his hands. He's more of just like a straight up athlete. And this guy was one of the highest graded guys at the edge position, according to Pro Football Focus, in the nation last year. So when he comes in, I think the Steelers are probably going to sign a free agent at the outside linebacker position to kind of fill that rotational piece. But then you have this developmental piece here in round 7, somebody that I think can be a true star in the National Football League if he he develops correctly. He's a former defensive back, and the athleticism shows on tape, man. This guy can go out and zone coverage as well. So as an outside linebacker, he's got some great versatility and some great tools that I think Mike Tomlin is really going to want to develop. So when you take a look at this draft haul here, this is what I think would be the ideal draft haul. Now, will the Steelers get all this? Probably not. In fact, almost certainly not. But I think if I had it my way, Paris Johnson Jr. is the number 1 offensive tackle on my board. Deonte Banks is the number 3 guy on my board right now, and somebody that's really, really close to Devin Witherspoon and Christian Gonzalez. If you can get that at the start of the round 2, I think that's a steal. Then you got Jack Campbell in the second round as well. Get your starting coverage linebacker, Mazi Smith, somebody that's going to be a fantastic nose tackle for you for a very, very long time. Jonathan Mingo gives you another flavor there at the slot receiver, especially on early downs there. Andrew Voorhees, hopefully your starting center for a very, very long time. And then you got B.J. Thompson, who you hope can develop into a true star outside linebacker in the years to come. So is this the best case scenario? Let me know right now by grading my perfect Steelers draft plan down in the comment section. What do you guys think? Is it an A? Is it a B? Is it a C, a D? Or am I just a complete idiot and it's an F? Let me know in the comment section right now. I really appreciate the support for the channel, guys. And if you aren't subscribed yet and you want free Steelers videos here on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button. We are the fastest growing channel for the Steelers here on YouTube. We're really proud of that fact, and I promise you, if you click that subscribe button, the only regret you're going to have is that you didn't subscribe sooner.